All right, well, welcome aboard today to today's webinar, a very important topic for your total SEO service for your business. And this is going to be the Google Maps playbook for 2022. So I'm excited that you're here. I'm excited to talk about this stuff because it really transforms a business locally online if you can get your internet marketing dialed in, and more specifically, your Google Maps really optimized and dialed in where you're at the top of the page there for searches for tree service, tree removal, tree trimming, tree service near me, those types of things from a mobile device, because the Google Maps gets the lion's share of the calls. A lot of people prefer to be calling a local company. So let me share my screen with you. I'm glad you guys are here today. Happy Friday. Hope the week has been going well. Let me share my slides with you here. And I'm going to ask you guys, if you don't mind, to pop in the chat. Of course, if you have any questions along the way, you can pop in a chat. But can you pop in the chat to let me know that you can see the slides here that are showing? I just want to make sure that it's showing that, not the window behind it, if you don't mind. Just let me know if you can see these slides right here whenever you get a second. If you can just pop it in the chat, so yes, we can see it. Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, thanks for confirming that. So we'll go ahead and get started. This is going to be the Google Maps playbook for tree service, arborists, and tree care contractors anywhere in the United States, and for that matter, anywhere in the world this pertains. And this is something that can help your business greatly. So I want to get right into this. Few things are as important as being on the maps and being at the very top of the page there in search results. So what this goes into is, this is our digital dominance method that we go through with all of our clients. This is how to really accelerate your lead flow in your local market online for your tree service company. And these are all the spokes on the wheel that will help you get there. So number one is going to be your website and your SEO, and the Google Maps falls into your local SEO, your search engine optimization, showing up high for searches in the local area for tree service, etc. So you want a good SEO presence, good website, Google Maps presence. Number two is pay-per-click ads. We do a whole webinar on each one of these topics typically. Number three is retargeting. So you can retarget all the visitors to your web pages, which really helps convert some of the people down the road. You can do paid online directories like Yelp, YP.com, Angie's List. Those have kind of mixed results. Number five, you can do repeat referral business. One of the good things about that is you can do an email marketing newsletter once per month to your database. We find that that schedules really inexpensive appointments for our clients because a lot of their customers need tree work going on. And so when you email them, it reminds them. You kind of build a fence around your customers. Number six is pay per lead. So there's other avenues like Home Advisor, Angie, things like that. You can pay per lead. Number seven, social media advertising, Facebook, YouTube. And then number eight, you can simply offer a referral program to your existing clients. Hey, if you guys refer us to a friend or family or a neighbor, we'll offer you guys tickets to the game or a $100 gift card, etc. Things like that, some sort of incentive. And then number nine, last but not least, is going to be direct mail, which works awesome in targeted zip codes that you want more business coming into. But this is a digital dominance method. Today, we're going to focus on this number one, this SEO with the Google Maps more specifically. So I need you guys' attention, please, today. There's several of you on the call today, on the webinar, so I appreciate you being here. But it's going to really help you guys transform your business, right? And I want you to get something out of this. So if you're serious about doubling or tripling the leads that you pull from your Google business listing, is what they call it now, on the maps for tree service, the next 20-30 minutes are going to be critical for you guys to understand how to do this. What we're going to cover today is the latest updates with the Google Map listing. So you guys want to definitely know about that. The 5 biggest issues that could be preventing you from ranking on the maps. Maybe you're asking yourself like, man, I just cannot get my Google Map to the top there. And I want it to be up there in that top 2 or 3 results so that I can get some more calls coming in. Our proven model and strategy for ranking in the 3-pack. And the 3-pack just means in the top 3 positions there in the map, the first ones that show up there. And the best tools, if you want to do this yourself, to systematize and automate the heavy lifting of getting on the Google Maps. So why the internet? Well, over the past 15 or 20 years, unless you've been living under a rock, you've noticed that there's been a massive transition from offline to online for search. Instead of yellow page search, now people are just going to Google and simply typing in what they need. They can do it from the convenience of their phone and find tree services locally to call and come give estimates out, or anything else for that matter. Statistics tell us that more than 77% of consumers go online when looking for tree services. That's a pretty big number. There are over 10 million searches every month, and it varies month to month. but about 10 million searches every month for tree service and tree removal type service searches globally on the internet. So for 10 million searches, you only need a small portion of those in your local market to generate good, heavy lead flow. Do you want your share? And I imagine you do. That's why you're here today. So I want to show you what's going on here. So who am I and why should you listen to me? Well, I've been in the internet marketing space for over 10 years now. It's not close to 10 years. It's over 10 years now. I'm getting old. And the author of How to Win with Internet Marketing for Tree Service Contractors. We've got a paperback book, happy to ship a copy directly to your door for free. If you guys want a copy, just shoot me an email from the webinar invites or anything like that. Get in touch with me. We're happy to put this in a box and send it to you with a couple other goodies. It's everything that we kind of go through with our clients on how to get the best results online. It's also on Amazon Kindle if you want to buy it there for a couple of bucks, really cheap digital copy. We specialize in tree service contractor internet marketing. So it's all we do. We don't work with, dozens of different types of businesses. So we have very specialized knowledge in your business as a tree service and helping the phone ring. Expert web development and digital marketing team behind me that takes care of all of our clients. We make sure we do the right thing for everybody. Worked with over 100 tree service contractors across the United States. And we know what works to generate a flood of new business. And we're also members of the TCIA and the ISA associations as well. And this is going to help you increase your sales, enhance your online reputation, drive more calls, leads, and profits to your business, and increase repeat and referral business. So if your reputation's good and your maps are like at the top and you're always showing up, it's going to help everything. Right? You're going to get more lead flow. People are going to call you over the competitors because you got a better reputation. You got more reviews. If other people are saying you're a good tree company and you got a bunch of reviews on your listing, that's hard to fake, right? So people know that. That's why they look for reviews and they call those with the best reviews or the most reviews. So make sure you're working on that stuff. We're going to show you how to do just that. Do the Google Maps still matter? Some people ask that question probably all the time because there's so many different paid ad things out there, right? You can do Google AdWords, Google local service ads, the Google guaranteed, which those work as well. But for today, we're going to talk about the Google Maps. Do they still matter? And there's a lot of other ways to make the phone ring, but does it still matter? We're finding it matters a great deal. So about statistics prove if you do a heat map on the first page of Google search, a couple different tools you can use for that. But when you do that, you can see that about 40 to 45% of all leads and calls from the first page of Google search are going to come from this Google map area right here. And so when you're doing a search for tree service near me, tree removal near me, or, you may do a search for something else because you're already a tree service contractor. You're probably not doing that kind of search. But when you do that kind of search, you're going to see some results up there on the maps. And the idea is these are the most local to me where I'm standing on my phone. So that's why they get a lot of the calls. A lot of people would prefer to call the Google Maps because it's not an ad. And they just figure, hey, this is not spam. This is probably a real tree service company. Let me give this one a call. So it's super important to be right here. I mean, especially if it's getting 40, 45% of all the clicks and all the calls on the first page of Google search page. So yes, Google Maps still matter, exclamation point for sure. And I'll show you some examples of that live. So for some of our clients on how many calls they're getting. It's affirmative. Google Maps drives a lot of calls. You can't rely on pay-per-click alone. If you do, you're kind of just always on the hamster wheel, always paying for leads, always paying per click. And now look, those work very well to bring in a good ROI, bring in business. But if you show up on the maps and your website's right below the maps and you're organically ranked on that first page with good SEO, it's going to double or triple your overall lead flow. Just by default, because now everybody can see you below the paid ad section, right in the maps and right on the website page below that. So that's why we say it's super, super important. The biggest changes that have happened over the last, 3 to 5 years, Google Map listing reduced from 7 results on the page. It used to show 7 tree service companies in the maps or roofing companies or any kind of company, but 7 companies on the maps. They reduced that down to 3. So a lot of these things we're talking about today is going to be very relevant because they're only going to show 3 results in that top page. And then you've got to click on see more businesses to see the rest of the ones in the maps. But, these things are important to get to that top 3. Google is also serving paid ads in the map results. So if you see the maps now, sometimes you'll see a little ad next to that map listing. And that's what's called a location extension from the Google Ads account that transfers over and shows your map as an ad as well. So that's also showing up there, more visibility for your business if you do it right. Google Home Services is live in most major markets. So that's the Google guaranteed ads at the very top of the page. And the cool thing about that is that's a paid ad strategy for a whole nother webinar. We're going to do one of those coming up for how to get Google guaranteed, how to get in the Google local service ads. But if you do, or maybe you already are, the cool thing is it feeds your Google Maps reviews into that Google local service ads section at the very top. So if you got 57 reviews on your Google map listing, 5-star rated, those are all going to show up in your Google guaranteed listing at the top too, that you're paying for those calls. So that's super powerful. So the reviews are super powerful because it's going to show up in your Google Maps and it's going to show up in your Google local service ads guaranteed listing as well at the top of the page. So those reviews are really, really important. So we see that a really good strategy is to do home services, which is the Google local service ads at the top of the page, Google guaranteed, plus Google Maps. If you get both of those optimized and you're both at the top of the page, that's where you're going to get the lion's share of the calls coming in. So it's critical to complete the advanced verification process for the Google local service ads, the guaranteed. But I got a webinar coming up on that. So you want to stay tuned to see that one too in a month or two. But basically, yeah, how it affects search results is, you've got the paid ads up here. It used to show the 7 listings in the maps like here. You used to would see 7 or so of those. Now you can see the Google local service guaranteed ads are at the top. Then you've got the pay-per-click ads, Google AdWords, traditional Google AdWords called Google Ads now. And then here's the maps right here. See how visible that is? It shows a Google map of your local area where you do the search. And then it shows the 3 most relevant, quote unquote, according to Google, relevant Google map listings right under that little map. And so you want to be right there. Excuse me. So you want to be right there in the maps. It just makes all the difference in the world. Depending on the population, it makes all the difference in just really accelerating and increasing your lead flow on the internet. So maps plus home service is huge. So you can see right here, hopefully you can see my screen right here. If I can make that a little bigger, I don't know, but let me go back to that previous page. So right here are the Google local service ads. So you got to get verified in here. Not too terribly difficult, but you got to do a background check, a couple other steps in the Google local service ads department. But once you get up here, you can see that it shows their reviews and it shows their rating. That is pulled directly from the Google map right here. So whatever you have in the Google Maps is going to feed right into your new Google local service ads account. So it's powerful. Getting those reviews is really good. And your reputation is really what's going to determine how to accelerate your lead flow in your local market. Because if you have a listing with like 0 reviews or 2 reviews, people are going to generally gravitate to the one with 10, 20, 50 reviews because, they feel like other people are kind of going out of their way to give this company a review. It must be a pretty good company. And we can show you ways to get more reviews too. But this is kind of how it looks. So you got the Google local service ads, the Google AdWords, used to be AdWords, now it's called Google Ads. Then you got the Google business listings and the maps right below that. And then you got the organic listings below that. So that's how it impacts search results. If you want to sign up for Google local service ads, you can either just go to Google and search Google local service ads, search. And then you can literally create an account and sign up. There's some steps and it kind of can be a little bit of a bottleneck, and Google's not easy to work with directly. We help our clients with this, and most agencies will if they know how to use it or do it. Not all agencies know how to do the local service ads, but you can sign up yourself if you just go to Google local service ads on Google, or you can click this link right here. It's adwords.google.com/local services. And that's kind of how you would sign up for Google local service ads if you wanted to do that. And in addition to your Google map. So why is getting your Google map listing ranked important to you? You can pop in the chat. You can ask a question at this moment. Just think about that though. Like, is that going to help your business get more calls coming in where you can kind of pick and choose the calls and the estimates that you go on? So why is getting your Google map listing ranked important to you? I can tell you it makes a huge difference. So here's a couple of our customers, just snapshots over a 30-day period of their Google business listings on the maps. This is one customer right here. So they had 133 actions on their Google business listing, that map listing that we were looking at a minute ago, where I was showing you what it looks like. So you click on there, they had 71 calls in a 30-day period on the Google Maps. That is huge. That's roughly I mean, business days, that's roughly 3 to 4 calls every day, business days. And the weekends, you're going to get some calls too, depending on what you select your hours for on your Google business listing. 854 visited the website. So out of those 54 that visited the website, some of those turned into legitimate leads as well, because they'll either fill out the get a free estimate form on the website, or they'll call the button and the number on your website, which turns into another lead. So when you take into consideration 71 phone calls on the Google business listing, where somebody just clicked to call your Google map listing to get on the phone with you, or 54 additional visits to the website, that's over 100 leads easily in 1 month period to this client Google business listing. Here's another one. They had 60 phone calls in a 30-day period on the Google business listing right here. You can see that. And then you've got 66 visitors to the website as well, who also went there. So that's probably another 15 to 20 leads on top of that. So very, very powerful. Would you like to get this many calls? I mean, I'm sure you would. Most everybody would say yes to that question. And it's really powerful. It just helps you get so many more leads coming in where you can actually do things. And then also, if there's a storm or anything like that, you're going to be at the top of the page. You're going to be getting all those emergency calls. I want to show you that right now. Let me show you a live example of a client. So this is a client in the Lakewood, Colorado market, and they just had some sort of storm in Colorado. And let me show you what that looks like, since they're perched at the very top of the page there. If we go to their insights inside their Google business listing, this is a live example. This is their 1 month, so 30 days. They had 7,000 views on their Google business listing, 210 actions on their Google business listing, 109 phone calls over the last 30 days on this Google business listing, and 92 visitors to the website. So you think about that. That's a humongous flood of leads coming into their business because a storm came through of some sort. I'm not sure exactly if it was like a windstorm or a tornado type thing or something like that. But there's a lot of tree damage out there. And just because they're ranked number one, or in the top 3 of the maps in that area, they got a lot of calls coming in. So I just wanted to show you that as a live example. This stuff really, really works. This makes a humongous difference for your business. So that's a live example. Get back to the slides here. Here's 10 critical elements to enhance conversion on your Google business listing and get more people to call you over the competition. So if you get into home services, you'll be up here at the very top. You get into Google Maps, you're also right there. And then third-party listings as well. So if you have like your Angie's List listing, you don't have to be doing any marketing with them, but a free listing on their platform, Google crawls the web and they see all the places that your business name, address, and phone number are listed. And so that's really powerful for your Google Map rankings, is getting listed in all these directories and third-party directories. So like Angie's List, Yelp, Manta, YP.com, whitepages.com, superpages.com. There's hundreds of those. So the more of those you're listed in, the better, because then you're going to be basically showing up in all those other directories, and that's going to help push your map listing up as well. Organic listings, weekly posting. So some of the best practices as well is to post every single week on your Google business listing. We do 4 posts per month for our clients, and that makes a big difference. I would say at the minimum, do at least 1 post per month on your Google business listing. And that is right here. So if you're inside your Google business listing, there's this little post button right here. And you click on that. And basically, when you go in here, you can just attach a photo, and then you can just do a quick post. But you can see, like, we do posts, once a week. So 4 per month. And it's basically a picture of you guys in action. And it is like, just, hey, we're in this area doing tree trimming today. Give us a call if you want to get a free estimate, that type of post. It's really, doesn't have to be that elaborate, but it just keeps it sticking out in the search results, which really, really helps your business. So I would say if you're in your Google business listing, you get in here, it's called the Google Business Profile Manager. When you get in the dashboard, get familiar with all these little things, because getting in the maps, man, it just makes a world of difference for our clients' businesses, or for your business for that matter. If you want to do a lot of this stuff yourself, you want to do postings, check your insights out, which tells you your calls, lead flow, things like that. Your reviews, make sure you're responding to the reviews too. So when you get a review, go put, hey, thanks so much, John, for the 5-star review. We appreciate your business. That type of response. Just a good professional, appreciative response. And those reviews and responding to those reviews is just more activity on your listing, which is going to help it kind of show better. The photos, you want to click on photos. And once we get into the photos section, you want to make sure you fill it out thoroughly. So keep putting photos in here, but also click on like the at work here and the team here, and then put photos in every one of these categories. And that really helps your listing stand out better as well. So just get familiar with the Google Business Listing dashboard and just really use it. It's going to help you guys really, really get a lot more calls coming in. So updating your photos in there, just put as many photos as possible in that Google Business Listing. You can't put too many. What we found is our clients that provide the most amount of photos to us to do it for them, or they do it themselves, the most photos, the most reviews, the most activity, that business listing is going to go up to the top and it's going to stand out and it's going to get a lot of lead flow, like I showed you a minute ago, and consistent reviews. So these are kind of the 10 critical elements that we see. Google says there used to be a really big issue online with fake Google map listings. Maybe you've seen them before. It would just say like city tree service, right? So let's say you're in Atlanta, it would say like Atlanta tree service or Atlanta tree experts, and people would stick up these listings just to attempt to generate calls and get ranked in that local area so they could get more calls coming in, and then they would get more leads. But it wasn't real business, right? It wasn't a real business entity. It was just like a phony map listing or whatever. And used to, you could do that on UPS store addresses, PO boxes. You could literally toss one up in every suburb so that your business had a map listing in every suburb that you want in addition to your main area. But Google squashed that. They pretty much put all the UPS store addresses, all the PO box addresses, a lot of the Regis shared office addresses on like a blacklist type thing, if you will. And so they can scan these Google business listings and see if they're verified at those addresses. And if they are, they'll suspend them. So it's really not even worth the effort anymore. And they've tried to reduce the fake listings by about 70%, they say, since 2015. Whether or not, how accurate that is, I don't know, but there's definitely less fake listings out there, which is actually the silver lining is really good with that, because what that means is that the real tree companies, Google map listings, are going to show up at the top because there's not so many, competitors with the fake listings showing up in there. So what could be hurting your rankings on the maps? A couple of these things we just actually talked about, but I'll go over them again. So this could be hurting your rankings on the maps. Google has clearly stated that it's against their terms of service to have a post office address, UPS store address, or any of those shared office addresses. So your office needs to be in the city you're targeting, right? So if you want to target Greenville, South Carolina, for example, you don't want a map listing that's 20 miles away in Taylor, South Carolina, even though you want leads in Greenville. You need to have a map listing in Greenville, because it's going to be tough to show that local Taylor, South Carolina map listing in Greenville, because there's a whole slew of tree companies in Greenville that are going to show up over the one in Taylor, South Carolina, even if you select Greenville as a service area inside your Google map listing, right? So you need an office in the city you're targeting to rank well in Google Maps. So let's get a little creative here. Let's say you don't have an office, but you want to rank in this area. We found that residential works well. There's a couple different steps you got to do, but you go create your listing. And I did another video right before this one. You'll see it on YouTube and other areas where I show you how to set up a Google business listing. But you set it up and you can just receive the postcard at the house and then put the code in to verify it, but just call it a service area business and it won't show the address of the residents on the Google business listing. And that way you kind of hide the address. But residential typically works well, and any commercial address works well as long as it's not a PO box or a UPS store, right? So some of you guys may have some questions about how all that works. If you want to pop it in chat, that's fine. I'll get through this and I can answer a question or two about that. But just make sure it's a legitimate address. If it's UPS store, usually isn't going to get verified. And if it does, it'll probably quickly get suspended. So I would say it's not really worth the effort to do that. And then inconsistent name, address, phone number profile. So when you do your Google business listing, you want to make sure you have like your name, address, and phone number and website accurate on the Google business listing, as it would show on your Facebook page, as it would show on the Angie list listing, the white pages listing, super pages listing. All of those you want to be consistent. You don't want to be like XYZ tree company in one, XYZ tree service in another, XYZ tree experts in a different one. You want to always be the same name, address, phone number, website. It's like somebody raised their hand there. Yeah, go ahead. You can pop in the chat your question. I'll answer it, Rob. No problem. But you want to make sure you've got consistent, citations across the web with your business and everything. So Do you have enough reviews across the web too? You know, this could be hurting your rankings on the map too. You're not listed in any of the other directories online. So Google scans and crawls the web and they literally see everything. So they see how you're ranked or how you're listed in Angie's List, how you're listed on Facebook, how you're listed on manta.com, how you're listed in yelp.com, you know, all those different directories online, they scan and see that stuff. So it's important that all those are accurate too. And that really just shows that you're a real business. Really what Google's trying to do is make sure you're a real business. And if you're listed in all these online directories, have a website that's ranked, all those different factors, they're more than likely going to rank your Google map listing above your competitors, with everything else being equal, right? And so that means you need to get reviews, post photos, and all that type of stuff. So you want to make sure you're doing that consistently. So those things could be hurting your Google map listing. If you're at a PO box, if you're at a UPS store, it could be that Google's suppressing the rankings of your listing because that's against their terms of service. Not always. We see some of them get through and they're ranking from a UPS store address or a PO box address, but not as much anymore, right? That's pretty seldom these days. Here's our proven formula to get ranked in the 3-pack there. So the Google My Business. So number one, get listed in all of these online directories. I mean, again, there's hundreds of them. There's, you know, Twitter profile, Instagram profile, Facebook profile, yahoo.com, Yahoo Local, yelp.com, Angie's List, yellowpages.com, yellowbot.com, DexKnows, Bing, everywhere. You want to be listed everywhere. And that way it looks like you're a legitimate business and it passes that sniff test with Google and they'll start moving you up the rankings. And the SEO agency generally can provide these services for you. If you already have one, that's fine. They're probably doing this for you to some degree, but this is what helps get you up there. The next thing is work on consistent Google reviews on your listing. And if you go into your Google business listing, there's a little small short link that you can copy out of there. So you don't have to like literally send people some gigantic link that's like the whole Google search page. Hey, go here. You can give them a little bitty short link that you can save in your phone and just text. And Google creates a little short link of your Google business listing review pop-up. And that way you can just text that to your clients or people that you've recently done work for and easily get more reviews. And if you ask, most of the time you'll get it. But keep in mind, the person on the other end giving you the review has got to be logged into Google somehow or another. So if they're on their phone and they get a text and they want to leave you a review, oh, let me click on this link and give XYZ Tree Service a review, then they click on it. And then if they're not logged into a Gmail or logged into a Google account of some sort, they're not going to be able to leave the review, right? And a lot of people ask that question all the time. Hey, Wes, we're getting a lot of people saying they want to give us a review, but they can't leave the review. Well, they got to be logged into Google somehow on their Gmail, on their phone, whatever. Same goes for Facebook. Same goes for Yelp. If you're not logged into Facebook, if you're not logged into Yelp, you can't leave a review on somebody's page. So it's very similar on Google, but make sure you guys get consistent Google reviews. The third part, last but not least, make sure your website has good on-page SEO. And that might be like a foreign concept to you. So I'll just explain in like a basic high-level term. So the on-page SEO on your website is what's written on your website. So if your website, because your website's plugged into your Google business listing, right? So let me show you that example that I was talking about just a second ago. So you see this one, Arbor Pro Tree Experts. They're in here. If you go to the info tab right here, all of your business information is in this tab. So you can see right here, the website is plugged in, the website address is in the Google business listing. Well, guess what? Google scans this website. They know what's written. They know all the words that are written on this website. So when I say good on-page SEO on your website, all the keywords that you're trying to rank for your local area. So let's say you're in Lakewood, Colorado. Make sure your website says we do tree service in Lakewood, Colorado, tree removal, tree trimming, all of that stuff. That way, when Google scans your website, it's going to keep pushing your map listing up too, because what's written on your website influences where your Google map listing is going to land too. There's several moving parts to getting ranked on the maps. Trying to condense it down for you guys, the most important ones, but this makes a big difference too. And Rob, yes, absolutely. We do provide that service as well. So Google reviews, I'm guessing that that's what you're referring to, the Google reviews. Absolutely. We've got a tool that helps you get lots of reviews. If you can consistently get 3 to 5 reviews a month, you're going to be doing very well in 6 months to a year. And it really, really helps your map listing stand out. So those are the proven services and activities that are going to help you get listed in that 3-pack. So number one, maybe you're not even on the map yet. Go ahead and claim and optimize your Google My Business listing. Make sure you have a login for your Google My Business account. Oops. And what that means is just if you're already in a Gmail account, if you're already in, some sort of Google account, yes, at the top right up there, you're going to see a little button that says apps, Google Apps. When you click on it, you'll see a little storefront icon like this right here, this blue one. And it'll say Google Business Profile, Google Business Manager. It used to say Google My Business. Now it's Google Business Manager. You click on that and then open it up. And if you haven't set one up before, you can just go through the steps to set up your new business, right? And get the postcard mailed out, get the code, and then pop it in to verify. Update your company name to read company name. Don't add keywords in there. Don't add XYZ Tree Service, Atlanta, Georgia, right? Just have XYZ Tree Services. That's the name of your business, on the state corporation papers and all that. Just make sure it's the exact business name. Google does not like when you try to stuff keywords in there. XYZ Tree Service, Atlanta, Georgia. That means you're trying to rank for Tree Service, Atlanta, Georgia, and they know that. They don't like that. So don't do that. Sometimes they'll even suspend those. We've seen. Add your website address. This will create an important inbound link from your Google Map listing to your website. It's perfect. Use a local number. So you might be tempted to use 800 number if you service a vast area, maybe. They won't do the trick though. Let's use a local phone number. Google would prefer that, and they're going to show the local rankings better if you have a local phone number. Use a local address. And again, no PO boxes, no UPS stores. We don't want to use those because they're bad. They're against their terms of service. So it's kind of a no-no these days. It may get through. You may get lucky. But I would think that it's just not worth the effort to keep doing it because eventually it's going to get suspended and then you got to start all over again, right? So you don't want to do that. Upload photos. The next part is really, really important. Upload photos, as many as possible. Use personal photos, pictures of yourself, the owner, the trucks, your staff, your pictures of your trucks, your crews, your equipment, just any types of photos of your business. You guys out doing tree trimming, removing a tree, feeding limbs into the chipper, loading logs up, just any pictures of all of you guys doing work, and just upload those in your map like all the time. And I would say at least if you could do it every 2 weeks, upload new photos in there. If you can't, once a month probably would be sufficient, but more often the better because it just keeps that activity going, right? But pictures of your crews, your trucks, and your brand is going to resonate farther with the local people. And make sure you list your hours of operation and services and everything. So when I say optimize your Google business listing, most everything is going to be right here in this info button. So make sure first and foremost, you guys are picking tree service, right? We see a lot of tree service companies have landscaper here. And that means you're a landscaper, not a tree service. So we want to make sure you pick tree service. Also, the other one is arborist and tree surgeon. Make sure you pick that if you are an arborist or if you have an arborist you can refer to or have one on the staff. This particular client does firewood supplies too. Have your address listed, service areas. Keep it down to like your main area, maybe 1 or 2 additional areas. I wouldn't have too many service areas. Too many of those jammed in there kind of confuse Google and they don't rank you for any of them real well. You'll kind of be in the top 10 in a bunch of different local areas, but never like number 1 or number 2. So I would restrict it down to just having your main area right here. Make sure you provide your hours in here. A lot of people do, weekends, things like that. Some people don't. And then have your correct phone number, your website address. You can put your contact page link on the appointment links. Services, go ahead and put all the tree services you do in there. That's very optimized. And then write a nice little article right here in the description. That's going to help you guys stick out. And it's a chance to put in some keywords like tree service, your city, and we're the best tree company around, how long you've been around, things like that. So that's how you optimize it. Most of these things that you want to fill out are going to be right here in the info tab, which is why I say just get used to kind of coming in here, often and just making sure you're doing things in here and keeping it active. It really makes a big difference with how your Google Map listing ranks. So claim and optimize your Google Map listing. And once you get in here, let me move this little video thing around. Once you get in here, make sure that you add photos by pressing this plus button right here. So you go to the photos tab first. So when you're on that left-hand side, we were just looking at, come down here to the photos tab, click there. And then this is where you can add photos to your listing. So add photos by clicking this button, but also make sure you fill out and put photos in the at work section, team section, and identity section. So the identity section is going to be your logo. And also you can have like a nice cover photo like maybe of like a picture of your truck, like a wide angle photo of your truck on that cover photo part. And that's really, really good too. Just fill out these things thoroughly in every little area, and it's going to really help your Google map listing pop in the local market. So valuable insights. When you're in your Google map listing, you can see insights there. I think I showed you a minute ago on this live listing. Just go to the insights tab right here. You click on the insights tab, and literally you can see how many searches you showed up for. This client, 5,900. And this direct means how many people searched your business name to find you. And discovery just means, how many people, typed in tree service your city, tree removal your city to discover your business. And that's really the important one, because that's organic SEO, how many times you're showing up for SEO. And this will also show you how many calls you got, how many website visitors you got, all of that stuff. So just really, really helps. If you just kind of come in here, you can see the phone calls. It's kind of breaking it down by day. Looks like this day they got 22 phone calls. That must have been right after the storm hit. 22 that day, 24 that day, 16 that day. That's a absorbent amount of phone calls they got there. So anyway, I'd just like to show those things. Those are where your insights are. So Google My Business best practices. Update your photos and add them on a consistent basis. These are just little easy things that you can do. Leverage Google Posts. So post on your Google business listing at least once every 30 days, which is right here. You go to Posts, click there, and then just make a post. It can be literally just as basic as possible. Picture, and then, hey, we're out trimming some trees today. Give us a call for the best tree service in blah, blah area. Call now. Respond to reviews. So anytime anybody gives you a review, generally you're going to get an email that says, hey, you just got a new Google review from Sally Jones. It was 5 stars. So you can go back into your Google business listing. I would say a couple times a month, just go in there and respond to your reviews. Thank you so much, Sally, for the 5-star review. That just really helps show Google that you're a legitimate business, your activity's up and everything else. If people answer or ask questions on your Google business listing, usually there's a way you can ask a question like, hey, what is, can you get out this week? And they'll ask a question. You can go in there and answer, yes, we can come out for an estimate, within the next day or two. And then generally we can schedule the work. So just, answer the question any way that you see fit, just answer their question accurately. But, and then also get consistent reviews on there. So if you do these 5 things consistently, you're going to be doing real well with your Google business listing. Number 2, build citations and consistency with name, address, phone number, like we were talking about before. So get listed in all these directories, right? Get listed in all these directories online. That's going to help you show up and look more legitimate to Google. And therefore, they're going to push your map listing up a little further. So like the Yelp, the Angie's List, Home Advisor, some of those are necessary evils, but you just need a good free listing in all those. You don't necessarily have to be advertising with them to get a listing. Yelp, Super Pages, Manta, Hot Frog, there's hundreds. But get listed in there. And then pay attention to the aggregators. So a lot of these directory listing services will list you in these aggregators that feed through to other directories that also are very powerful. So usually, when you submit it in one of these, you'll get up to 200 to 300 listings. And I'll show you one of the best tools that we like. So I like Bright Local a lot. So you guys could just do a search for Bright Local if you want. That's a good directory listing submission provider. So they'll submit you guys name, address, and phone number. And you could do a scan to see how you're listed across the web already. And they'll attempt to clean up listings that are inaccurate. Let's say you've moved your location and now you're at a different address. Let's say you changed your website, you got a new website address, like all those things matter. So you want to make sure that all of them are accurate. And so when they do a scan, you can clean up those old listings that are inaccurate. Another one's called White Spark, Advice Local, Moz. There's several different ones for citations. We also provide these. Yext is kind of the most expensive one, and they want a contract to do it. I would say that that's a little bit overkill. You don't really need that. But the best practice for citations, which are those directory listings and all those different directories, is manually claim and optimize your Google My Business listing. You want to make sure that's on the maps. Use a tool like the ones we showed you, Bright Local, Yext, any of those, to get at least the top 50 of the local top citations. And the top 50 are like the main ones, like Yelp, Apple Maps, Bing, Dex.com, like, the main ones, they're escaping me off the top of my head, but there's a bunch of main ones that you want to be listed in. Angie, Yelp, just all those main ones you want to get listed in there. And the data aggregators help. And that's why I gave you guys the best ones like Bright Local and the other ones, because they actually submit to those data aggregators, which feeds them into lots of other ones, kind of doing the heavy lifting for you. And so just leverage a tool like Bright Local, or, if you use an agency, usually they have an agency license with one of these, and then that really helps you as well. We also do that as well, help you get listed across the web. But lots of real reviews, right? So this guy, you can tell, is a great review, and it's actually a legitimate review. Excellent experience working with Gunnison Tree Service. Gunnison provided a scheduled date and very busy time of the year for tree work. When an earlier date opened up, they confirmed the new date and time, and were able to come out earlier and finish the work earlier. So that tells Google that somebody else is giving your company a review, and it's nice and long-winded, which just tells you guys are great. And everybody sees that online. Think about it. Everybody that comes and does a search for tree service is going to see that review. They're going to go, wow, that must be a great company right there. They do great communication with their customers. Their customers are coming in there and giving them reviews, and must be an awesome tree company. So I'm going to go ahead and give them a call too. So that's pretty much what happens. So strategy for driving consistent reviews. There's some tools out there that you can get that helps you get more Google reviews more often. Like we give you a tool with our agency package as well for tree service contractors, but there's other tools you can just piecemeal together if you wanted. I'll show you those in a second. So leverage tools to get a review after every service, every time you go out and do a job. Get them to give you a review, or ask them to. Just at least ask them, because if you ask people, most of the time they will do it for you, right? Especially if they're happy. But if you don't ask, they're not going to think to go do it. They're just like, oh, great, I got the work done, everything was good, and they just go about their day, right? But if you ask them, then they will usually give it to you. Make a call, train your crews to plant the seed and deliver a world-class experience for every client, every customer they go do a tree service job for. And just ask them, hey, would you mind if we go ahead and send you a request for a review? It really, really helps our company out. It makes a big difference with our online presence, and we just would be very thankful if you could give us a quick review. Most people will say yes, by all means, go ahead and send it over. So make a call after the service if you wanted to, if you have an office staff, to walk them through the review process. It's really easy anyway, but the tool will do that for you. But if you call them and kind of, let them know it's coming and type thing, or tell them on the job site, hey, do you mind if we send you a review? They'll more than likely do it, instead of them just being surprised as something coming in. But build reviews and recognition into your company culture. It's so powerful to get good reviews. It just makes your company be like a positive influence in the local environment, local community. So people want to refer you and things like that, the more reviews you get. So the best tools for review automation, if you wanted to do this like on your own, is like Nearby Now Home Services. There's Review Buzz, there's Bird Eye, there's Customer Lobby. And then, last but not least, Tree Service Digital. We provide a good tool to help you get good reviews as well with our package. So these are some of the ones you can use if you're already doing a lot of this stuff yourself and you want to do it on your own. Best ones that we've seen. And then Service Titan is also another one. I think it's like the most expensive one, but that's one you can use too. So the last thing, but not least, that really influences your Google map is on-page SEO optimization. So this is the footer of a website client of ours. And so in the footer here, you've got their name and contact us. So you have the address here, right, in the footer. So every page of the website has a footer, and the footer generally is the same on every page of the website. It's just the footer that goes into the, the bottom of the website down there. And so you can see basically that they've got, the address here, the phone number here. And so Google scans and sees that, and it basically shows them that your business address is the same as the one that's on the maps, right? And so they're going to see it in your footer. And then also we do a plugin for your Google My Business listing, your Google Map listing, that also shows up in the footer too. And so that just really, it just sends the right signals to Google to rank your website and your Google Map listing at the top there. There's so many moving parts to it, but this is very important on-page SEO, what they call it, the things that are on your website, on the pages. That's going to really, really help also influence your Google Map. So I wanted to show you that part too. That's a lot of people skip that part. A lot of people don't think that's important. That's very important. So our proven formula for getting ranked in the 3-pack is going to be Google My Business. It's going to be your directory listings, accurately getting cited everywhere, the Google reviews, making sure you get plenty of Google reviews, on-page SEO, like I just showed you on the website. Those are really, really powerful for getting your Google Map listing showed up. So here's one of our client testimonials, Baroni's Tree Pros in Brandon, Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi. We're very thankful for Tree Service Digital. Wesley Smith and his staff have always provided high quality customer service. Tree Service Digital has brought Baroni's Tree Pros many, many customers. Their service has helped us to receive a large amount of calls every day. We're even booking 2 months out at the moment. We're currently ranking #1 on the Google maps and the areas that we cover, thanks to Tree Service Digital. Their campaigns have been successful in helping us to reach out to many customers, and a large percentage of the customers that contact us through our ads and click links created by Tree Service Digital end up booking with us. So Tree Service Digital is an excellent business. We highly recommend using their services. We got a lot more of these on our website, even video testimonials. So just wanted to throw that one out there for you. We know what we're doing in this space. But if you want a free online marketing plan review, I appreciate it, Brian. Thanks for the compliment, man. You're welcome. No problem at all. We do these once a month. We try to. So looking forward to talking to you as well. But a free online marketing plan review now, if you guys want to do that, it's no problem whatsoever. So you guys want to call our office number, 770-637-3707. You can go to our website, treeservicedigital.com. We're easy to find there. It's a place to get a free strategy session on the website. But we'll go over like your online visibility, the way it stands right now, kind of show you where you're at. We'll do a custom keyword search, kind of like where most important terms, like what areas you want to cover, things like that, where you rank currently, showing you where the gaps are. We'll look at your online reputation and reviews, look at your social media presence, things like that, analyze your website conversion, and is your website good enough to convert those visitors into callers and stuff like that. So again, we happy to give you guys a free website presence online review. It's really a lead flow acceleration session where we kind of go over your business, how we can help you. And then there's no pressure at all. Like we don't, we'll show you what it looks like, how we can help you, and part as friends, or we can do business either way. And but we're really happy that you showed up today and came to the webinar. Again, this is our digital dominance method. This is what we go over with every client. It really, if you do every one of these things, it really, really helps your business be highly visible online everywhere. That's what's going to make a difference for your business, right? I mean, what is it worth to be listed everywhere, to just show up everywhere when people do searches in your local market? I can tell you it generates a lot of business because people are going to call you and you're going to get those estimates. You're going to get those appointment requests. So all these things are very, very important. But again, offering a free marketing plan review on our website. You can go to treeservicedigital.com/schedule, or just go to treeservicedigital.com. There's a few contact forms on there. You can give us a call at the office here, and we'll be more than happy to help you out there for free. All right. Well, you guys have a great weekend. I hope this was valuable to you and you got something out of it. If you're trying to do it yourself, a lot of these things will help you. I know they will, because we implement these for our clients and they do a great deal for the businesses that we work with. Just being local and showing up everywhere online is going to generate a lot of calls for your business. It's going to kind of change and transform your business into like a lead machine, right? You just get calls coming in all the time. And that way you can pick and choose or keep multiple crews busy if that's what your goal is to grow your business. So hope you guys have a great weekend, and look forward to seeing you guys soon. If you're on the YouTube channel watching this later, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We put out all kinds of content. We got interviews with experts coming up soon too. But I hope everybody has a great weekend, and talk to you guys next time. All right. Thanks so much.